few words about Tracy Austin, then.
Yes, Tracy, it's her third Wimbledon. She's a very confident young lady. She was, I think, the thing that struck me most about her was when she was told that she was seeded 4 here and she expected to be seeded 3. She was very angry about that. Very annoyed that Yvonne slipped in front of her, even though Yvonne has won these championships. She's very hungry, very keen player, but is not altogether at home on grass. I think she is partly the cause of the injury, that her footing, she's not completely at home on it. She doesn't like it as much. She lost in the Federation Cup in Melbourne at Christmas time, the only time she's played on grass since here last year. She lost to Kerry Reid there, and Kerry drop-shotted her out of that match. Played deep and then played short and drew Tracy to the net and then either lobbed her or passed her with comparative ease. But, Tracy has matured a lot since then. Winning the Italian championships, I think, was a great step forward for her. In those championships, she ended Chris Evert Lloyd's long run of 125 wins on clay. And Tracy has the capacity and the security in her own game to know that she can reproduce this form.
Well, I have a feeling, Anne, you've played Mrs. King, and you know how good her drop shot is. I shall be very surprised indeed today if Mrs. King doesn't do 2 things and do them quite consistently. I have a feeling she'll drop shot the youngster and bring her to the net, which is not her best or better part of the court. She's much happier on the baseline, so she'll bring her into the court, which she doesn't like. And I think the other thing is that she'll do a lot of very severe things against Tracy Austin's comparatively weak second service. I think she may well drop shot it, and she may certainly go in with a sliced backhand down the line or a sliced forehand down the line, or even may go for the occasional straightforward winner off the second serve, but we shall see. But I would imagine Tracy Austin's reply to all this will be somehow to get as near the lines as possible, like she did when she played Miss Evert, although of course Miss Evert wasn't volleying very much in those days, not as much as she does now. But Tracy Austin's job, I think, will have to be to serve deep second serves, or better placed second serves than she normally shows. She'll have to play her passing shots low over the net and very much near the lines. And she'll have to take the ball possibly under pressure a little earlier than she likes to do. But she can do it, of course, on her two-hander particularly. She really can counterattack. And I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't find that she'll have to lob high and deep.
Miss Austin to serve, first set. Play.
So Tracy Austin to serve in this quarterfinal.
Love. All.
Well, perhaps the little lady hasn't warmed up, but she could, I think, if she'd really tried, she could have got that half volley in her forehand corner.
(30-15).
Interesting there, Mrs. King drop shotting against the first service. played.
Game to Miss Austin. First game, first set to Miss Austin.
Well, I think that was a very happy opening game for little Tracy Austin, and being watched by her mother, who Anne Jones knows very well.
Yes, Mrs. Jean Austin travels everywhere with Tracy. Tracy, of course, is only 16, and she welcomes this support both on and off the court. Her mother handles all the arrangements for her and leaves Tracy just with the playing on court to worry about. I thought, Dan, Tracy looked very much more mobile in that first game than she has done so far this week.
Yes, I agree, and except that just what that second point, deep in the forehand corner, when Billie Jean half-volleyed a rather
Mrs.
easy
King to
ball, she
serve.
didn't chase it, but perhaps wasn't, of course, on the second point thoroughly warmed up. So Mrs. King serving.
Love 15.
Well, there's a confident shot, a running pass off the half-court ball. No running to the ball, stopping and then playing it, but running right through it.
All.
And Tracy Austin treating the bad length second service of Billie Jean's with contempt there. Well, that was a little bit off the end of the racket. She just got there in time. Crowd rooting for the youngster, hoping everything that she hits is going in, but that was out by a mile, of course.
First service.
Yes.
Deuce.
So 15-40 to deuce.
Advantage, Mrs. King. Game to Mrs. King. 1 game all, first set.
And of course the seeding committee have seeded Tracy Austin at 4 and Billie Jean at 7, so in theory, of course, the winner should be Tracy Austin. She should get to the semi-final with a seeding of 4. 1 game all, first set.
15. All.
Interesting rally that, Tracy Austin, having to deal with top spins, slices and gliding balls where Billie Jean drew the face of the racket across the ball, imparting side spin. Handled it well.
15-30. $15-40.
It should be a very good day for lobbing because there's hardly a breath of wind in the centre court here.
$30-40. Deuce.
What a glorious passing shot. Off a low ball too, by the way, very low ball, and she had to go over the high part of the net. And there's a tremendous feeling of expectancy and excitement in the crowd here. Slice that one. Slice again.
Advantage, Miss Austin. Game to Miss Austin. 2-1. Miss Austin leads first set.
I wonder if this is the pattern of the match to come. Tracy absorbing everything that Billie Jean can throw at her. She's running up after the drop shots and she's handling the various topspins and slices, not with ease, but she's handling them. And we can see here in this particular rally at 30-40 she's really struggling to hold her service. She moves forward for that forehand, playing down the centre, giving Billie Jean King no angle at all. Again down the centre of the court, and Billie Jean electing to come in, but the approach a bit short. But Tracy going for that beautiful forehand pass.
Quiet, please.
1-2.
Love.
Billie Jean King serving with a very strong sun in her eyes.
$15 all. $30-15. $40-15. $40-30.
Well, not an error really by Billie Jean. We put that point down to Tracy Austin, the forcing forehand in the deep corner.
Deuce. Advantage, Miss Austin.
So a break point for Tracy Austin.
First service. Deuce.
One, two, deuce.
Advantage, Miss Austin.
So for the second time, break point for the 16 and a half young lady. Billie Jean really having to think hard about this match. They've never met before, by the way.
Second service. Game to Miss Austin. 3 games to 1. Miss Austin leads first set.
Well, that's the all-important break, and although breaks aren't so important perhaps in women's tennis as in men's, nevertheless, when you've got a break, it's a tremendous confidence-giving affair. Now, her second service hasn't been too bad so far in this match.
$15 love. 30 love.
Forehand winner on the 15th stroke of the rally.
$40 love. Game to Miss Austin. Four games to one. Miss Austin leads first set.
Well, Ann Jones, I'm a little bit surprised that Billie Jean hasn't taken a better grip on things at the moment. I must say the younger girl is serving better than I thought she'd serve.
Well, Dan, I think she seems to me, Tracy, to have picked up in all departments of her game. I think the trauma of the injury at Eastbourne is long gone, and her opening match here on the centre court was not a very happy one. But that's all behind her now. Now she's back again as the hungry young kid, dying to get at all these top players and prove that she's as good or better than all of them. She's no respecter for the reputation of Billie Jean King at all. And Billie Jean, I think, again, is trying to press a little bit too hard and do too much too quickly. Obviously, she doesn't want to get drawn into long rallies, but she can't expect to break up every point with drop shots and spins.
Love.
Now, one imagines that Billie Jean will really start trying to show her superiority here, or at least bring more experience to bear. But the youngster is in very fine fettle and good touch.
Oh. 15 all. $30-15. $40-15.
I really don't think Mrs. King knew where that one was going, across the court or down the line. She stood rather heavy, leaden-footed there. But it's 40-15.
Game to Mrs. King. Four games to two. Miss Austin leads first set. $15 love.
No, it's sliced out.
30 love.
The approach shot meant to carry just into the corner, but just over-sliced, and the ball faded away.
$30-15. 40-15.
Very nearly.
40-30.
Terrifying smash from Billie Jean off the bouncing lob. Tracy Austin very nearly got it back with the late half volley. Or very nearly got it in, rather.
Deuce.
Interesting tactic there. Slowed the rally down, Billie Jean, looped a few, lifted a few, sliced one or two, and then gave the youngster a very inviting, bouncy half-court ball around the service line. But at least he played a positive stroke off it.
Advantage, Miss Austin.
And Billie Jean rather giving the younger lady a gift there. That was a very poor forehand drop shot from Billie Jean.
Deuce. Advantage, Mrs. King.
Now, is she going to recover the loss of her own service game that happened in the fourth game, Billie Jean? Break point.
Game to Mrs. King. New ball, please. Miss Austin leads by 4-3, first set.
Well, Anne, it's a fascinating struggle here with Billie Jean using all her experience, the loops and the slices, and letting the youngster have a go at lifeless balls.
Yes, of course, it's so exciting for me anyway, because neither of these two players have met. It's such an interesting encounter. And Billie Jean here is starting, I think, to talk to herself, and that's always a sign that she's getting into the match. It's easy to forget that she's played so little tennis, so little competition. She played here last year in the singles, and not again until Chichester a couple of weeks ago. And there at Chichester, she beat Martina Navratilova so easily, 6-2, 6-1. And everyone said, oh, Billie Jean's back. But it's very much more difficult to keep reproducing that form.
And when you beat her in 1969, was it?
Yep.
When you beat her in 1969, what did you feel was your greatest threat? What was uppermost in your mind when you played against her? Keep her away from the net, or...?
Yes, always to keep Billie Jean away from the net, but that's impossible to do. The main thing is to dip the returns of serve low enough so that she doesn't have that first volley to play where she wants to. You have to try and dictate the return of serve to her. A lot depends on how Billie Jean does with her first service, whether she gets enough speed behind it. 3-4 then, first set.
15 love. 30 love.
Yes, a good call.
Thirty. 15.
Double fault apiece now.
Forty. 15. Game to Mrs. King. Four games all, first set.
So from being 1-4 down, Billie Jean has come back to 4-all in those 3 successive games. Of course, a break of service after 2 deuces. So we're coming near the crunch now. 4-all, first set.
Love 15. All.
What I think is so remarkable is the composure of Tracy Austin, 16.5, and yet playing a rally like that. It's one of the all-time greats, playing it like a veteran. 15-all.
$30, 15.
Oh, that's a dream of a shot.
40, 15.
If ever I saw a textbook shot, there was one. She lined up for the shot perfectly. Absolutely perfectly.
$40, 30. Game to Miss Austin, 5 games to 4. Miss Austin leads first set.
Oh, some beautiful forehand play by Tracy Austin there.
And here's one of the points that proves how composed she is, as Dan was saying earlier. Billie Jean trying to change the speed there with that looped ball deep to the baseline and then rushing in. Billie Jean's approach a bit short, but Tracy right behind it and could have hit that ball anywhere. Billie Jean had no idea which side of the court to cover. And Tracy, I think, showed a lot of courage in that game. She lost 3 games in a row and her 4-1 lead with it. Showed a lot of determination and courage to fight her way back into that game. It was a vital game for her. And the last point of the game too. Forehand down the line. She gets her shoulders round so well. And also on the backhand, Tracy, her shoulders round well. Billie Jean, her newly found backhand topspin. And again, too hurried an approach shot. No chance with that half volley. But she dives for that superb backhand volley. And there again, the forehand cross court winner.
Back on court, it's Tracy Austin leading by 5-4. Billie Jean to serve 1-4.
Love 15. Love 30.
Now, this really is serious. That was not the sort of backhand volley that you expect Billie Jean to miss at a vital stage of a set like this.
Love 40.
So 3 set points for Tracy Austin.
$15 40. $30 40.
Brilliant.
Deuce.
That was a lovely, lovely reaching high volley that for a lady who's had all sorts of surgery on her knees. Marvellous leap off the ground for that volley. Well,
1 fault.
Bill Pickup looked across at the service linesman. He, by a wave of the hand, showed that the ball was too long. That's why he called a fault. So it's 1 fault.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
So a rather sympathetic hand for Billie Jean there, as the crowd thought that she'd suffered a wrong decision. Oh, that's a great shot.
Deuce.
It was a great shot because Billie Jean's service had a lot of slice and it brought it right into the body of Tracy Austin. Oh, that's a sweet drop volley.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
And Mrs. King, you really thinking that one out. Such a surprise shot.
Deuce.
say what a return.
Advantage, Miss Austin.
An astonishing cross-court pass off a really magnificent service gives Tracy Austin her 4th set point.
Game and first set to Miss Austin, 6 games to 4.
And 39 minutes
Second
of
set, Miss Austin to serve.
39 minutes of one of the most fascinating sets we've seen on the centre court at Wimbledon for years. Brilliant passing shots there by Tracy Austin. So here she goes, starting second set.
Love 15.
And to tactical connoisseurs, they must be wondering whether Billie Jean will persist with the drop shot tactic.
Love 30. Love 40.
Well, Tracy Austin hasn't hit many unforced errors, but that was one there.
Game to Mrs. King. Mrs. King leads by 1 game to love in a second set. Miss Austin leads by 1 set to love.
Well, Anne, is the young lady going to suffer a little reaction after that very hard-fought first set?
Well, I think that shows her inexperience a little, Dan. She seemed to me to relax just a little bit, having won that opening set. But all due credit, I think, to Billie Jean King. Billie Jean doesn't want a long match, and yet she's lost the first set. She covers her disappointment so well and produces in the first point a really cheeky cross-court drop shot that was an outright winner. Billie Jean, I think, using the inexperience, I think she expected Tracy to relax a little, and she, in turn, Billie Jean, picked up her game.
So Tracy Austin, having broken the service in that last set, after 3 hard deuces, it was really hard game. She had 3 break points. She was love 40 at one time, 3 set points rather at one time, but lost her concentration a trifle, I think. Might have reacted a little bit the opening game of this second set, and Billie Jean quickly wrapped it up to love. So she'll be endeavouring, of course, to underline that break of service with a quick holding of her own service here, I would imagine.
Love 15. Love 30.
As she nods her head, waggles her head as she misses what is one of the greatest backhand volleys in the women's game and has been for years.
15-30.
But Tracy Austin saw that drop shot coming all the way. It was unusually obvious from Billie Jean, that one.
$15-40. $30-40.
Little breathing space for Billie Jean there. A gift point, a rather badly mistimed return of service.
First service.
Oh,
One game all, second set.
well, two-handed returns are always difficult, or at least they carry more natural disguise than ordinary, straightforward, orthodox forehands or backhands. But on that one, Billie Jean really was left standing. She didn't know which side it was going. One game all, second set.
15 love. $15 all. $30-15. $30 all. First service.
Yes, I wondered when she was going to try that.
30-40.
Well, that's the forehand slice down the line, the return of service of the second serve, and then the comparatively easy smash. Break point.
Mrs. King. Two games to one. Mrs. King leads second set. Miss Austin leads by 1 set to love.
And Tracy Austin, I feel losing her rhythm on her first service there. The first service when it goes in is adequate. It's deep enough and it contains Billie Jean. It keeps her quiet. But the second serve is very slow. It doesn't have any different spin on it from the first service, and it sits up waiting for Billie Jean to attack it. And Billie Jean has a variety of methods of doing that. She can chip it and come in behind it, or she can topspin it. And here is one variety that Billie Jean uses. The short second serve to the forehand and straight down the line it goes. Short as well, dragging Tracy in as well as across the court and setting up the comparatively easy overhead. And Billie Jean very, very rarely misses those.
And I'm just going to remind you very quickly, when you played Billie Jean, you had to suffer quite a bit of that too.
Yes, it's useless putting up easy overheads. You might just as well go for the winners. If you give her those easy ones, she punches them away and dominates the whole arena. 2-1 second set.
15 love. First service.
Just up.
30 love. Love. $40-15.
Billie Jean playing the penalty of not coming in fast enough there. A bit casual as she followed her first service in.
$40-30.
That's the backhand volley.
Game to Mrs. King. 3-1. Mrs. King leads second set.
And that backhand volley, like a shot out of a gun. So Tracy Austin 1-3 behind in the second set, having won the first set 6-4 in this quarter-final.
Love 15.
Well, that was a 12-stroke rally and finished off in the perfect manner with a beautifully angled winning smash.
$15 all. $30-15.
Billie Jean just couldn't handle the pace of that very firmly struck forehand into the corner. Ball really zipped away. Oh, well done.
$40-15.
There's a little bit of gardening there. She dug that one up very well. I must say it was a rather bad bounce, although the ball, of course, carried a lot of heavy backspin.
Game to Miss Austin. Mrs. King leads by 3-2 in the second set. Miss Austin by 1 set to love.
And Tracy Austin, I can't help feeling showing a lot more versatility than Chris Evert did at the same stage. Tracy doesn't mind getting down to the low balls or even going into the net. Billie Jean wisely lobbing that ball. She was taken right out of court by that service, and here she really bites at that one. Some backspin on it. Tracy returning everything with ease. Another lot of backspin on that one. And Tracy moving happily to the net. There's a long way to run for that lob. And there goes Billie Jean King with her usual firmness overhead. There's no answer to that. And Billie Jean needs some hard, accurate serving in this game. 3-2, second set.
Love. Love.
So 3 times running, Billie Jean has come in behind the serve and has produced a winning volley. It's the combination of serve and volley that has made her so great through the years.
40-15.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
(40-30).
Oh, what a brilliant bit of anticipation and execution net on the forehand volley.
Deuce.
So, after being love 40 behind, or at least Billie Jean was 40 love, it's deuce.
Advantage, Miss Austin. New ball, please. Three games all, second set.
And so, an almost indecent game. Breaking the service there, Tracy Austin to bring the score to 3-all in this second set. She was 40 love behind on Mrs. King's serve and produced 5 points in a row to win it.
Love 15. All.
Three all, 30 love, second set. In the most fascinating duel here on the centre court.
Second service. Not up. 15-30.
Yes, I gave her the wrong score just now, and I said 30 love. It was 15 all, of course.
15-40.
So the 7th game. Are we going to have a break of service?
Games to 3, Mrs. King leads in the second set. Miss Austin leads by 1 set to love.
Billie Jean King, I think, guilty of a little loss of concentration when she served at 3-2. She seemed to get to 40 love quite comfortably and very uncharacteristically her mind seemed to wander. And before she knew where she was at deuce, and little Tracy was up to the net and passing her beautifully. The weakness is really exposed in this match, though, Tracy's first and second services. It's the only ball, really, that Billie Jean gets in the whole match where she can really attack, and attack it she does. But then again, Billie Jean is guilty of not being able to hold all her own service games either. She really needs to get her first service in all the time to keep up the pressure.
Love.
As Billie Jean wins that first point in the 8th game, leading 4-3, 15 love. They've been on court just a minute over the hour.
All.
Well, Tracy Austin got back quickly enough. She was expecting, I'm quite sure, a much deeper lob than that. And I think we can fairly say that's the first really immature shot she's hit so far in this match.
(40-15).
Yes.
40-30.
Oh, that's a magnificent half volley.
Five games to 3. Mrs. King leads in the second set.
And Billie Jean King there, timing that return of service perfectly to make the winning half volley. So here's the test for Tracy Austin, 3-5 behind in the second set. Can she hold her serve and stay in the second set?
Love 15.
That's her third double fault.
15 all.
Billie Jean, believe it or not, standing in the wrong court to receive, wasn't really aware of the score. 15 all.
(30-15). (40-15).
Well, that was rather a better lob from Tracy Austin than it looked. It was over the backhand side of Billie Jean King, and although she's one of the great backhand volleyers, always up above her head. When you have to volley rather than smash, it's difficult. Billie Jean was attempting a very acute angle there. It's 40-15.
Game to Miss Austin. Mrs. King leads by 5 games to 4 in the second set. Miss Austin leads by 1 set to love.
So we come eventually, Anne, again. Can she hold her serve to win the set and make it 1 set all?
I was a little surprised then, especially having been presented with a double fault in the first point of that game, that Billie Jean didn't use the lead to more advantage. She must realise that she has more chance of winning the set on Tracy's serve than she does on her own. She's putting a lot of pressure on herself to get her first service in deep. She's not as fast around the court, I don't think, as she used to be. She's not as quick into the net behind her first service. And if Tracy returns them well and low, Billie Jean is in some trouble. The passing shots of Tracy's are so well disguised too. So can the old lady make it? 5-4, second set.
Love 15. All.
Well, that's 2 first services she's put in.
(15-30).
I think one can say that's uncharacteristic, missing a forehand volley like that at this stage of the match.
(15-40).
So 2 break points for 5 all. It's out.
Game to Miss Austin. 5 games all, second set.
And that's something of a surprise, because Billie Jean King put 4 of her first services out of the 5 points played into court, and yet she dropped the game to 15. 5 all, second set. First set, Miss Austin 6-4.
15 love. All.
And of course, if the drop shot really is played well, and it has to be against this young lady, Miss Austin does get rather distressed by it.
Yep. 30-15.
I think Billie Jean was taken a little bit by surprise because that was a very deep second service, and she'd made up her mind to play the drop shot and was committed.
(40-15). Game to Miss Austin, 6-5. Miss Austin leads in the second set, and by 1 set to love.
And Tracy Austin playing with all the composure in the world throughout that entire rally. 22 strokes, that rally, before Billie Jean King hit that forehand volley into the tramlines. That's the great quality of this young lady, and I think, I mean, the composure is quite remarkable, 16.5, and playing against a person with the reputation of Billie Jean.
Yes, Tracy really is a determined young lady. She's very secure in the belief that she can win, and this shows when the chips are down. I think from Billie Jean's point of view, though, she showed a lack of determination herself and a lack of belief in her own ability to win that game at 5-4. Very uncharacteristic of her. And now she really has an uphill battle on her hands. A set down and 5-6 down.
So she has to hold this service to stay in the match.
(15 love). (15 all). (30-15).
The destructive volley, of course, was the first one, the forehand volley, which was not a drop volley, but it was a short one. It's out.
30 all.
Oh, but Billie surely isn't thinking that her volley was in. Oh no, that was well out, Mrs. King, I'm afraid. I must say, I thought from the moment Billie struck that cross-court drop volley, I thought she herself felt she'd overdone it. So it's 5-6, 30 all. Second set. It's out. Oh, that's a pity.
40-30.
Oh, that's a pity for the great lady to do that, I think.
Game to Mrs. King. 6 games all. The tie-break will now come into operation. Miss Austin to serve.
So after that slight incident there, here we are at the tie-break, which Ann Jones will take us through.
So as everyone knows, the first two, 7 points.
Mrs. King to serve. 1 love. Love.
What an error. Billie Jean won't be pleased with that.
Serve.
Losing the break point that she gained earlier.
All.
And this a really vital point for both players.
Mrs. King to serve 3-2.
And Tracy there using the lob over the backhand corner to great effect in this match. Managed to do one, but she couldn't quite make the second. So Billie Jean broke again. 3-2. Billie Jean forgetting momentarily to change ends after the 6 points.
Service break.
4-2 with a break then.
Miss Austin to serve 3-4.
Billie Jean just not getting down low enough to these forehand volleys. That's 3 she's missed in this tiebreak already. Three, 4.
Three, 5. Mrs. King to serve 5-4.
Billie Jean misjudged, I think, that high backhand volley. She thought it was closer to the net than it was and didn't quite step back. Still ahead though, 5-4.
Six, 4.
2 set points then to the great former champion.
Miss Austin to serve 5-6.
Yet another forehand volley going astray. Billie Jean will really be disappointed with that. Still set point though. 5-6.
Game and second set to Mrs. King, 7-6. 1 set all.
Is that out? Is that out?
And Tracy asking there whether that ball was out. Billie Jean too threw an anxious look at the linesman on the baseline there. The call was a little late in coming and Billie Jean got a little anxious that it wasn't going to come at all. But Billie Jean happily threw that second set.
Well, then that's a tremendous recovery, really. You know, an hour and 24 minutes. Billie Jean, you know, who suffered all the injuries and so on, losing that first set 6-4, and then coming back with that tie-break 7-6. The point score 7-5. Tremendous effort by the former champion.
Yes, she was saying to me on Saturday after she beat Hannah Mandlikova that
1 minute.
she felt she was as fit as any other person in these championships. She's really worked hard since her injuries, and she really believes she can win these championships. And now we shall see precisely how fit she is.
Yes. Well, we haven't seen Tracy Austin at Wimbledon in a single under this sort of pressure, really, now that she's established a reputation.
Mrs. King to serve.
And is a seeded 4 player against Mrs. King, who's seeded 7. So all to play for now.
Love 15. All. $15.30. All. $30.40. Deuce. Advantage, Miss Austin.
And that's an achievement in itself, to make a volleying pass against Billie Jean at the net.
Deuce. Advantage, Miss Austin.
So that very fine lob, and she has lobbed awfully well in this match, very intelligently as well as very technically well. That's the 3rd time Tracy Austin has a break point in this opening game of the final set. Oh, that's a wrong footer.
Deuce.
Supreme example of wrong footing your opponent there.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
Billie Jean hasn't often anticipated correctly the two-handed pass of the young lady.
deuce. Advantage, Mrs. King. Game to Mrs. King. First game, final set.
Well, in this, what is becoming a titanic tussle, they've played for an hour and a half, and it's the first time, believe it or not, that Billie Jean has been ahead. Only by a game, holding her own service, but what a relief it must be. And that service game, she had to play 4 deuces before she held it, but it's a bit wearing, you know, when you're playing a long match against a youngster like this, born and after you had won your first Wimbledon. That's the situation. Billie Jean had actually won a doubles title here before Tracy Austin was born, and to be behind all that time and an hour and a half before you get your nose in front, that's something.
Love 15. $15 all.
Oh.
15-30. $15-40.
Now this could be something. 2 breaks of 2 points for a break of service here for Billie Jean early in the final set.
$30-40. King. New ball, please. Mrs. King leads by 2 games to love in the final set.
And I wonder if that was rather rash of Tracy Austin to come in and approach the net. She didn't get the length on the approach shot, but the odds, I wouldn't think, although she's made 1 or 2 very good volleys, the odds are against her percentage-wise when she comes in. So Billie Jean serving with new balls. 2 love, final set.
15 love.
Yep.
15 all. $30-15.
Well, tactically, you won't see many better rallies than that. Absolutely magnificent on both sides of the net, and classically finishing with a winning pass. Beautiful rally.
All.
No question about it being out. Billie played the forehand rather badly. She hooked it and didn't mean to. 2 love, 30 all. Final set. $
40-30.
I say, what a forehand.
Deuce.
Now that heavy top spin was meant to confuse Tracy Austin. Instead of that, it got up above waist height and knocked it away for an absolute winner.
Advantage, Miss Austin. Deuce.
Lovely bit of improvisation there by Billie Jean King. A nasty low ball, and she saw her opponent getting into position for the return, and yet managed to slice it, really curl it away to the line into a winner.
Advantage, Miss Austin.
So for the second time, Tracy Austin has break point.
Mrs. King leads by 2-1 in the final set.
Well, that certainly puts her back in the match, winning that service there, Anne.
Yes, I have a feeling, Dan, that that game was particularly vital to both players. Tracy needed it to get back into this third set, but Billie Jean really needed it badly to stay on top. This is the point that Tracy wins eventually, but with all that sound tactical stuff, Billie stretching really wide for that forehand volley, and up goes the lob that Tracy's played so well in this match, forcing Billie Jean back to the baseline, and Billie Jean retaliating with a lob. And there comes this superb drop shot just as Billie Jean was out of breath. Tracy gets to it, and Billie Jean really elated. She knew how much she needed that game. She really needed to be 3-love up in this final set. But it's gone, and she must be getting a little bit tired now. Tired in physically and tired of concentrating for so long. Tracy too, perhaps feeling the strain. After all, she's only 16. She's covered a lot of court. 1-2, final set.
Love.
And the crowd utterly absorbed in this match, and they're relishing those two counter-attacking two-handed shots from Tracy Austin, two glorious shots.
Love. Love. .40-15. Two games all, final set.
After an hour and 43 minutes, the issue absolutely thoroughly joined. 2-all final set.
First service. Love 15.
Well, the times Billie Jean sent the youngster across the court, and then to get past like that. Well,
The ball was out.
the ball was out.
15 all.
So the umpire will pick up.
15 all.
Well, Bill pick up the umpire from Cheshire. He made the decision. 15 all.
$15-30.
Most exquisite two-handed backhand pass, that one. Absolute perfect angle.
30 all.
Lovely volley.
40, 30.
You really can always hear, when you hear the gut ring like that, you always know the ball has been struck firmly and that it will buzz away off this fast grass.
Deuce. Advantage, Mrs. King. Deuce.
Beautiful stroking from the back of the court by Tracy Austin.
Advantage,
Outcalled.
Mrs. King.
To see how finely the angled drop volley has to be played to get it away from this tremendously fast youngster, fast off the mark and fast actually running. Oh,
Deuce.
2 games all and deuce in the final set.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
And Mrs. King using very heavy slice on the forehand approach there towards the sideline, and it was all not knee-high when the youngster had to try and make the pass. So advantage server.
Deuce.
4 deuces. This is a really hard game here. Just out.
Advantage, Miss Austin.
So it's a break point for the first time in this long game for Miss Austin. It's out.
Game to Miss Austin. Miss Austin leads by 3 games to 2 in the final set.
So, Tracy Austin there, as usual, just closing her eyes, resting her eyes, and just probably resting her head. She's had to think a great deal, but she's won 3 games in a row. She's come back from love 2 to 3-2 with 2 breaks of service. And is that indicative of the result, would you think?
I would rather tend to think so, Dan. I think she won that last game on the first point she had to win it. And after Billie Jean had already had 5 points to win the game. Billie Jean having lost 3 games in a row, which she's really knew she needed, really fought so desperately hard for, and she lost out on all 3 of them. She must now be in a lot of depth of trouble.
Love 15. All. $30-15.
2 rather bad errors from Billie Jean. She may well be feeling the strain.
$40-15.
And momentarily, at least, Billie Jean has lost the touch. Backhand return out and 2 forehand returns, very loose. So gift points for the server, Tracy Austin.
First service. $40-30. Game to Miss Austin. Four games to 2, Miss Austin leads in the final set.
A tremendous roar of approval from the crowd as Tracy Austin takes 4 games in a row and now leads 4-2 final set.
Love 15. Love 30. Love 40.
And that possibly signals the strain that Billie Jean has been under throughout this match. A really tough match. They've been on the court an hour and 54 minutes, and that's her third double fault, 2 in this game.
Here's Miss Austin. Miss Austin leads 5 games to 2 in the final set.
So 5 games in a row for Tracy Austin as she goes from love 2 to 5-2, 3 breaks of service. And as this young lady relaxes and probably sights the possibility now of victory, here's her mother, who probably does the same. In the middle of the picture, Jeannie Austin in the middle of your picture there, probably relieved that it looks as though the end is over. Well, and possibly the will and the concentration has just left Billie Jean. She really has worked terribly hard, mentally and physically, I think.
Yes, I would agree with you, Dan. It seemed to me that she really sensed it going with those 2 long service games, when she was 2 love up and also when she was 3-2. That really, to me, was the crux of the final set and indeed the match. And Billie Jean has been out there long enough. She knew it at the time and couldn't quite pull it off. So one feels all Tracy has to do now is to be steady and not give anything away. Serving for the match, 5-2.
Love.
Well played.
All.
Well, we must give that point to Billie Jean. She forced the lobbing error. It was a very deep, fast volley. And so easily Tracy Austin could have been distracted as Billie Jean was on the ground picking up that half volley, but not a bit of it. Right on the ball. 30-15.
All.
5-2, 30 all, final set. No, it's out.
40-30.
So that volley just a little bit too long from Billie Jean gives Tracy Austin match point. Match point to go into the semi-final. The centre court crowd doesn't want this match to end. 10th stroke of that rally. Billie Jean produces the forehand volley. Oh, well played.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
Tracy Austin must know that she's playing a player who never gives in, even though she may have lost her will a bit.
Deuce.
Billie Jean forced into having to play a half volley rather against her will there. So we're back to deuce.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
So for the second time, it's break point.
Deuce.
Well, Tracy Austin has had one match point. We've had 3 deuces in this game, and I think she must be feeling the strain a bit too. Yep.
Advantage, Miss Austin.
So match point for the second time as Billie Jean plays rather an ambitious shot there down the line to try and wrong foot her young opponent. That's it. So up in the box there, Tracy Austin's mother sees her daughter go into the Wimbledon semi-final for the first time. So she's achieved her seeded place.
Game, set,
she's
and
seeded
match
4.
to Miss Austin. 6-4, 6-7, 6-2.
Tracy Austin was seeded 4. That means that she was expected to get to the semi-final. She's done it after 2 hours and 2 minutes of a most enthralling contest. People who love good tennis, good tactical tennis, as well as good stroke play, have had an absolute feast here on this centre court. And to her eternal credit, Billie Jean King played magnificently in her 19th successive Wimbledon. Tremendous performance. And remember, she's still in 2 events, and she may yet break that record of Elizabeth Ryan's, which she shares with her, of 19 victories. But to Tracy Austin, a tremendous performance. Her maturity in her match play was unbelievable. Her composure was equally unbelievable. And gracious in victory, ran straight to the net, and Billie Jean's first comment was, well played. So we've had a match to remember here on the centre court today. Great tennis, Anne.
Yes, Dan, indeed. It was a wonderful match, so interesting beforehand and developed so well all the way along. Billie Jean in with a real chance of victory, but not quite making it. And all credit to Tracy for concentrating so well throughout.